podcast where we are on a mission to convince you to step out of your gaming comfort zone and try something new. With that said, let's get to convincing. Last week, I successfully convinced Darren to potentially check out Back to the Dawn, the prison life sim RPG, and Darren, easily enough, convinced me to be willing to check out Banisher's Ghost of New Eden because I was going to do it anyway, but whatever. This week, I will be convincing Darren to try a roguelike deck builder called Wildfrost, and Darren will be convincing me to play the first-person shooter High on Life by Squanch Games. Before we get there, we are going to start with the question of the week. And we have an announcement to make before we get there. This will be the first episode where we are doing this show while streaming on Twitch. So up until this point, we've just recorded it ourselves, and then I've put it together and uploaded it. This is the first time where we will have a few people here to kind of give live feedback and interact with them during certain segments. And this will be an interesting question because the people that are here, I believe for the most part, are people that Darren and I know, and so I'm familiar with some of their gaming tastes and things like that. But our question of the week, it could go a couple different ways. There are certain games that have come out and done really well, and almost feel like they could have potentially been lightning in a bottle. So the question is, are there any games that you, audience and Darren, feel if they had come out at another generation, another console, another whatever, do you think they would have done as well? So I'll let you think about it. For me, the game that I think came out at the exact right time, honestly, was Kingdom Hearts. Because Kingdom Hearts is a game that, on paper, shouldn't work. It is Final Fantasy mixed with Disney with action-based combat. And that shouldn't work. Kingdom Hearts shouldn't work, but it did. But I also, well, hello, Rooks. Welcome to our chat. I don't know if you know us or not, but welcome. We are currently going over our question of the week, but hey, nice to meet you. But I think that if Kingdom Hearts had come out later, I don't know that it would have had the impact it did. Because, like, obviously mechanics come into play, right? Because I was talking to some people about this yesterday. The question, one of my responses was Modern Warfare. Would Modern Warfare have hit as hard if it had come out a few years later, right? Because obviously you have the thing about Modern Warfare revolutionizing first-person shooters in a lot of ways. Control scheme, online, everything. But the game itself, if the game didn't have the tag of revolutionizing first-person shooters, would it stick as well? I don't know. Potentially, because it had a good story. But my actual answer is Kingdom Hearts because I feel like it was just the right time. And yeah, I don't think Kingdom Hearts would have hit as hard if it had come out, like, first game came out on PS3. Right? Like, I don't know that it would have reached as far.
I mean, I'm sure it would have. It came out at pretty much the end of good, arguably, Final Fantasy games. Because, I mean, it came out in a relative proximity to 10.
Mm-hmm.
10, for a lot of people, was the last good one, although a lot of people like 12 and 13.
I was going to say, 12 was fairly... 13 was not well liked at all. It
13
was
is liked very feverishly by people. The people who like it love
sure,
it.
sure, that's fair.
Um, 12 was divisive
Mm-hmm.
because of
Mm-hmm.
the fake action
Yeah, sure,
combat that it
sure.
had, where it was more akin to how MMO combat is. If we're gonna be completely honest, a
I think
slower MMO combat
it was also a game where you could make the game autoplay because of the gambit system, and I feel like that rubbed
that didn't
people the wrong
exist
way too.
originally. That
What?
wasn't as it is originally. You had much more active control over it. The gambit system
I don't think that
was
was Zodiac Age.
refined. It was refined for the Zodiac Age in a lot of ways, I think.
I don't know about
But I
that.
don't recall.
But anyway,
Honestly,
so
it's been so
I
long
mean,
since I played it.
but I
But
think that's
either
the
way,
point, right? It came out around that last good Final Fantasy time, so if it had come out
I still think
post,
it would have ended up the same, to be honest with you. Because unless it had come out, let's say 10 years later, then I mean we might have started asking a bit more questions.
Works
But
is right, by the way. Said Ash is the protagonist. Sorry, not sorry. Absolutely
no,
right.
it's Balthier. Come on,
You think so?
absolutely, 100% Balthier is the protagonist of that story. Ash is
Mm,
also she is a protagonist of her story, but Balthier is 100% the protagonist. I'll, I will I will die on this hill. Needless to say, it's not Vaughn.
no,
I would
Vaughn
argue. I
could have
mean,
disappeared and it wouldn't matter at all.
I would even make an argument Penelo is a more compelling main character because she spends the whole story corralling Vaughn into not
Fair,
doing things that he's doing.
fair,
Um,
fair. So you don't agree on Kingdom
okay,
Hearts? That's okay. All
I
right,
don't.
fine.
I think that it is because it was the perfect game with the perfect recipe to bring in a lot of different fan bases all at once. Even people who didn't know anything about Final Fantasy. I know a lot of people whose and don't take this the wrong way. A lot of people's first Final Fantasy game was Kingdom Hearts, if you understand what I mean by that. Um,
I mean, sure.
and so for quite a few people, Kingdom Hearts is what brought them in to Final Fantasy once they learned that some of these characters from Kingdom Hearts actually were real characters from their own games. And so in that sense, I think Kingdom Hearts would have worked regardless because it combined two completely opposite IPs, but it
But
did it in a way that made sense.
if you
And I
look
think
now,
the
though,
product is more important.
if you
I,
look,
I think it still could have done it now.
I feel
It's
like
just
Final Fantasy and Disney aren't at like a peak like they were then. Like Disney is still strong, obviously, but
I
like
mean, sure.
I was thinking about Disney the other day and name the last three Disney movies that dropped. I can't.
Wish Encanto.
Nope.
Encanto isn't one of the last three. I know Wish was.
Elio is one of them. Hey, you remember Elio that came out at
Oh
like I
yeah,
think a
the
few. Yeah, see
the
exactly.
mermaid
That's
movie.
my
Yeah,
point. No, that's Luca. See, you
that's
you
Luca.
see,
That's the other one, right?
you
What's
see.
Elio? Oh man,
Disney does
yikes.
not is kind of like
So, but
it's
here's the
not as
problem.
prominent.
But here's the problem with the perspective, right? Is you're looking at it with the benefit of hindsight, given how it is now. But like,
But that's the question. If it had come out later or even now, would
if you're
it
talking
hit as
about it
hard?
coming out 20 years later, now, no. Later, yeah, for sure.
All right,
Later,
fair.
it would have been fine. If it had come out now, I mean, no. But
Okay, what
it,
is
it
what
also, if I think if it had come out now, it probably would have had a much better everything.
I
So,
can't
like,
stand the first two levels of Kingdom Hearts 1. I dread going through them. Freaking Jungle Book and Alice in Wonderland are my most Atlantica has a place. It has a
no, it doesn't.
special place
No, it doesn't.
in the
Of
bottom
hell.
level
In the pit of
of
hell.
in
in
the
in the
depths.
pit of never-ending misery and despair.
But
Um,
Alice in Wonderland and Jungle Book, I can't stand those worlds at all.
not you mean Tarzan?
Yeah, that's the
No,
one.
not Jungle.
But okay, I
Um,
want to get to your answer. What do you think is a
yeah,
game
okay.
that essentially captured lightning in a bottle?
So I'm gonna say this purely because like you don't even see this genre anymore, but it was so prevalent then. And I'm actually gonna say Twisted Metal.
Whoa.
The idea of the battle car game was so fun, and like every Nintendo racer had a battle mode component to it. You know, Mario Kart 64 certainly had one. Donkey Kong certainly had one, or Diddy Kong Racing rather certainly had one.
I think so.
But I think Twisted Metal brought it to PlayStation, made it darker, and it was honestly the more fun version of
Sure.
all of it.
Sure.
The fact that you don't even see that genre at all now pretty much I think tells us everything we need to know. And now the most important thing about Twisted Metal is that it's a TV show.
So what you see I would argue that Twisted Metal set the precedent for Fortnite and games like it for battle royales. It was a battle royale. Maybe not to the
I
scale
mean,
of those games, but it was a battle royale.
by that metric, and if we're going to take that leap in logic, you could make the exact same argument about GoldenEye though.
No,
I,
because
m-
it
I mean,
was
it's
no, because that's
because it was
just
PvP though. It was still PvP, so you're I mean it's in one arena and it's a PvP game. It's an arena. But you could argue it set the precedent for MOBAs, but like you
I
could
don't
make
think
the
you know
argument for any of
you
those.
can do that.
I think the battle car genre does not exist anymore, and I don't really think it set any precedent. I think it came and went. It was it was a game that was never made to be pretty, but it was made to be really fun on a 32-bit or 64-bit, depending on your perspective, and console restriction. And as soon as we got more powerful systems, that almost completely went away. Like I know there's
Hmm.
still a battle mode in, at least there was in Mario Kart 8. Um,
Mario Kart has always had battle mode. That's actually
it
like the
has, but
main
it's like,
reason Avi still plays Mario Kart.
which is super fair.
Yeah,
Now I mean with the knockout modes, um, in the new Mario Kart, like those are fun, but it's still just racing at the
it
end of the
doesn't
day.
hit the same.
But
It does not hit the
it
same.
doesn't. It doesn't, and that's because the genre isn't as fun. But at the time, it was this whole new concept. It was fun. It was exciting. It was what we had, and you got to pick a character in the sense that they had their own personalities, very similar to SSX, which could be another answer for this question.
That yeah, like
Tricky specifically,
they're trying to come
tricky
back with like
specifically.
Skate and Tony and remaking Tony Hawk's Pro Skater, but like it's not the same, man.
It's not, and it's because it was for what it was at the time. They were so good and so fun, but the time has passed, and so as we keep running out of original ideas and trying to bring it back, at least Twisted Metal had the decency to make itself a TV show and not try to be a new game.
I think what
And I think that in and of itself
is the
is
most
probably why it is what it is.
is the most recent Twisted Metal Black?
Mm-hmm.
Is that the
Mm,
most? Is that the most recent one? Twisted Metal. Was
there was apparently a Twisted Metal game in 2012. Did you know that? Me neither.
oh, those are canceled games.
Ah,
Yeah,
okay.
Twisted Metal. Actually, yes, I did. I don't remember. I don't know anything of it, but yeah, I actually did. As far as console Twisted Metals, then before the 2012 version, then yes, it was Twisted Metal Black because there was one on the PSP apparently, and then a deluxe edition of the PSP version. But yeah, it went to Twisted Metal Black, and then 11 years later a Twisted Metal game, and then oh yeah, this I've seen this cover. Yeah, PS3. Yep, I didn't play a single second of it.
Of course not. And I imagine nobody did.
I think a lot of
But like
people did. And you're absolutely right.
because it really passed I don't even remember too many people playing Twisted Metal Black. I think the PlayStation 1 was the heyday of Twisted Metal. It was exactly what it needed to be for the console, and then it rode into the sun.
Here's the other genre type, because it's a subgenre, right? There, if you look in the zeitgeist of racing games, what are the ones that come into your mind that exist now?
I mean, sure, Forza, GT,
That's
Mario
like
Kart.
it. And I don't even remember the last time we got a Gran Turismo, to be honest. But you're right. It's Forza.
Well,
And
now
what
that Forza plays, or that they're going to be giving Forza to PlayStation
That's
as
true.
well. I
That's
mean,
fair.
do we
Absolutely
need
fair.
it?
But when was the last time you played a brand new arcade racer? Because I would say Forza has its
Burnout?
arcadey, but like when was the last time you played a good Need for Speed style arcade racer?
Well, to be fair, they just canned the Need for Speed brand.
Which ridiculous. But the one that
Agreed.
sticks out to me is Burnout.
Yeah, that's what I was just gonna say. Burnout would
Burnout
probably be.
Paradise is stupid fun. Because I
I mean,
like
but
a good
it's not that
simulator's
long
fine.
ago.
Well, yes, it was. That was PS3. Yeah,
The
see,
the
Honey
remaster
Soul.
came out in 18.
You see Honey Soul's comment? Where's that series
Nightclub.
gone?
That's
Midnight
true.
Club, dude. But
I mean, yeah.
you have
Can
the
I can
race
I get can I get Cruisin' USA again?
cruising.
I
Cruising was
mean,
awesome, dude. I vividly remember getting a horrible, nauseous stomach ache playing Cruising one day at my grandma's house. Why? I don't know. That memory is implanted in my brain. But like Burnout Paradise, it was a racer because it was an open world where you went to races, but some of the
hmm
things you did were the point of the mini game or the race was to make other cars crash. And it whenever you made a car crash, it did this like cinematic camera where you got to
mm,
see the crash of
hmm
the car happen and everything, and like that's just fun.
Oh,
Pod
Star Wars
racers.
Pod Racers.
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah,
man.
but that would require well, I was about to say that would require Star Wars being prevalent, but good lord, is it ever still? I would say Star Wars is even more prevalent now because it feels like every year we're getting something Star Wars related.
Oh god, but would it be an EA game? Because then immediately you know that game would be just ruined with microtransactions.
You're not wrong. We could be here all day. We can get back to this, but I do want to talk about our games of the week because I huh, I didn't expect what I got when I played my game. So my game of the week was Wildfrost, which is a game by Deadpan Games, and oh my goodness, yes, Honey Soul, Okami, I think, I think, I think that could be an interesting answer. However, I might be contradicted because they are making an Okami 2. But here's the question, will it do as well?
Well,
We will
if
be able to see that.
man,
I know,
oh
I
wow,
know.
yeah.
I need to finish Okami. Shoot, I need to play Okami. But Wild Frost is by Deadpan Games, who is which is a very, very small development studio. I think it's 2 people. I believe when I looked it up, which we support an indie game.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Their only other game is a game called Cave Blazers, which looks to be a side-scrolling shooter, I think. And then they have on their website a question mark for whatever their new game is. Who
Mm.
knows? But what I didn't expect when I started playing Wild Frost was a game that was going to unapologetically kick me in the face. So I've played some roguelike deck builders. I've played Slay the Spire. Um, I'm trying to think of others I've played, but I'm blanking right now. But I've played like a handful of roguelike deck builders. And they have been designed where you get to build your deck, and as long as you play your cards well, you can get through a lot of combat. Obviously, runs are typically RNG because that's the nature of playing a roguelike is there's elements of randomness. And when I was playing this game, I was getting beat down playing this game. So the way the combat works is you have two rows, three on one side, three on the other, and then a bottom row of three on one side, three on the other. The left half of the screen is your cards that you get to play and manipulate. The right top row and bottom row are for the enemies. And it was so daggone hard because the enemies get abilities that prevented me from playing. There was no dominant game theory in this game. You couldn't find the perfect way to play and then play that every time and expect to win. So the way it works is you have characters and they're on a timer. And after a certain amount of rounds, that character automatically does something. Whether it's automatically heal people in their row, automatically attack an enemy, whatever. They auto do something. And you place those cards where you want them to go, and then they just go. Then you have your active cards, which is the cards you play. And some of the cards are cards that just deal damage to an enemy. You can give status effects to enemies. You can give yourself shields to protect yourself, things like that. And so some of the things, the passives that the enemies got there was this like Staff of Frost, or this like snowball staff thing, and what it did is it freezes an enemy for a certain amount of turns. They can't do anything. Which, like, that's pretty good, because the enemies are on a timer as well. The issue is that there were certain strong cards that would be out on the board, and one of the passives that an enemy got was whenever anybody is snowballed, which is what the status effect was, their damage increases. So you're sitting there trying to stop these enemies from attacking, but the enemy is getting stronger every time you do that status effect, so you can't just snowball everything and wait for your turn to hit, because eventually you're going to run out of snowballs, and then that enemy's just going to wallop you. There were also enemies that started with like 8 or 9 damage when their turn came around. And keep in mind, your cards, you can raise health by doing certain things, but your base health for your cards is like 6 to 9, maybe 10. And so there are enemies that would come out and just have 8 damage on their card. But if you hit the enemy, you decrease their damage with the damage that you do. So if they start at 9 and you hit them for 2 damage, their damage goes down 2. So obviously you'd want to target those guys. But here's the issue. Then you have this other guy over here that if you use status effects at all, their damage increases. So which one do you target first? It's hard, man. And there were so many fights where I was just getting absolutely glassed by some of these fights, because to be completely honest, I was expecting to go in and just play, not put too much thought into it, but every turn matters. The nice thing is that your health restores after every battle. So like if you finish the battle with 1 health, you're going to be back to full the next one. So all you need to do is have your main card survive, no matter what. If they do, you clear. So
I mean, that's not too bad.
No. So you also, after every run, when you do certain things, you start building up a colony. So one of the colonies let you get new cards for if you killed enough enemies, you would unlock a new feature of this building in your colony. So you're encouraged to do different things to get access to new features that can then help you in future runs. So you aren't going to just sit there and do one thing. The dominant strategy theory goes out the window for this.
Sure.
And then that's the gist of the game. You go through the battles, you have to really strategically think about what you're doing, and as you go through, it's similar to Slay the Spire, where you can choose different routes. Some routes will have
Mm-hmm.
less battles, but they have less loot. You go through, you can encounter basically somebody who sells you a card, which is what you want gold for. You can get to a
Mm-hmm.
place where you can get healing, or go to a place and upgrade a card and make it stronger, give it new features. There's also accessories or pendants. I forget what they were called, but you get these items that you can basically attach to a card and give it a permanent boost, and it can't be removed.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to really make the choice you want to stick with.
Sure.
And yeah, I was getting my butt kicked. And as you play through, you unlock new decks that give you new abilities. So the ones I was playing with was very heavy into snowballing to freeze enemies and
Mm-hmm.
and whatnot. You get other things that I never got to because I just kept getting clapped. So yeah, that is the gist of how the game works. And it was so daggone challenging. But yeah, any questions about anything? I mean, the graphical styling was almost reminiscent of Adventure Time a little bit,
Mm-hmm.
which I love. I love Adventure Time's uh,
Sure.
art direction. But yeah, another thing I didn't talk about was there are daily challenges that you can do. So the game is constantly getting new puzzles, and if you do those puzzles, you get new things to unlock. You get new cards for your deck that are for your deck that you can have. So you get more companions that you place on the field to give you new features. Like one of the people I absolutely had to get each time was a companion that healed after a certain amount of time, and
Mm-hmm.
they
Mm-hmm.
healed my entire row, and that saved me in a couple of fights. So
Sure.
you really the one thing I will say that I'm not a fan of personally, but some people really do like this, is there is an ideal strategy. There is a best way to handle things, and if you don't do it the best way, it feels like it can backfire, and then you're kind of done for. So,
What what would you say separates it from any other roguelike deck builder? Like what's I guess what's the hook?
it's
Because you
freaking
played enough at this
hard.
point. I mean, so is Balatro. It's
Would you
they're
consider
supposed to be
isn't
hard.
that a poker game? Like this is more
It's
like,
no, sir. It is still a roguelike deck builder
well, I know that,
for
but
certain.
it's not fair to
Like the
compare
the
this
the
to the,
scoring mechanics is poker, but it's still entirely strategic with how you go about doing
well,
things. I
sure,
mean, it's
but
and like Slay the Spire is not easy either.
I mean they're gonna be hard because like you're gonna fail runs and
That's
things.
right, right.
Um,
So what's the hook? Why do I care to keep doing runs? Why is this more fun than some of the others? Because
I
like
mean,
and I we're about at the point where we can start asking this question about Metroidvanias too. Um, what why should I play this one and not play the Spire or Balatro?
I think that is the inherent issue you get with it going into deck builders. It's the same thing that Souls likes are running into now. It's like what 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 are you bringing that the others don't? And I feel like
Right.
so many companies have done the Souls like formula so many times. It's the same reason why I'm not playing Wukong. Like why do I care? I think Wildfrost is you're gonna want to play it if you're thirsty for a deck builder and you've played the others already. It's simple, it's fast, it's really hard, but it's if you put the time in, I feel like you're gonna be able to handle. You're gonna get a hold of the systems so that you
Hmm.
can so that you can advance the story, because the point is that the story is that the sun has frozen over and the world has succumbed to like permanent winter, and you're fighting to reach the sun temple and get
Hmm.
rid of all the frost in the world, like to bring back the sun. And so that's your story, but I feel like it does the tactical deck builder well enough that if you're looking for one to play, this one is absolutely worth your time, because if you're into roguelike deck builders, you've played your Slay the Spires, you've played your Balatros, you've played those already.
Sure.
I mean, but like Slay the Spire isn't new. In fact, Slay the Spire 2 has been out for how long now?
It's been a little while, I think.
Slay the Spire 2 came out. Um, oh, I don't think it's actually out. I think it's in.
Is it in
Yeah,
beta?
no, it's not out yet. Slay the Spire 2 is coming out this year. So like, if you've played Slay the Spire already and you want something to kill time until Slay the Spire 2, I think you could do worse than what this game has to offer.
Sure. I mean, I love roguelikes, you know that,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm always a sucker for a good deck builder. So I mean,
Mm-hmm.
I'll file this one away. We'll definitely keep it into consideration. With everything else that's out, of course. Good luck finding time for me
Now
to
here's the
play
question,
anything. But like,
because we can ask this now. Is there anybody in the audience in the chat right now that feels
uh,
convinced? Anybody in the
what,
chat? Arcana. What is Arcana? Is
what's
that?
all,
Hmm. I'm not getting any. Oh man, why have I not been able to
no, it
convince our
doesn't.
audience? A
It sounds like a
Honkai
Honkai
Impact
Impact
minigame.
minigame. Oh man.
You are so
Oh
Hoyoverse
man.
brained.
Oh no. Oh dear. That that makes me sad. All right. Well, on that note, hey Ryan, and also chat.
Mm-hmm.
Do you, do you enjoy Rick and Morty?
I only spent 30 on Genshin this week. Jeez, dude. um, I haven't watched Rick and Morty since like season 3, but I do remember
Yeah.
laughing my buttocks off when watching it.
Uh, I'm yes. It's very much the irreverent type of humor that it will appeal to a very specific demographic,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
typically the male demographic, to be fair. But I think it knows its audience pretty well. Well, here we have High on Life
Mm-hmm.
by Squanch Games. The only other game they've produced, as far as I'm aware, is Trover Saves the Universe, which I believe was PC only, so I never even got a chance to play it.
You can
Um,
now.
I can now. Well, if I can run it, I don't know how well the Legion will play it, but um,
No, it's on Switch
and oh, well, there you go.
and PlayStation.
But I have so much else on Switch.
There, yeah, no,
Um,
absolutely.
anyway, High on Life is in its essence, it is a Rick and Morty game that is also a boomer shooter.
It's a boomer
But it's
shooter.
a little more open than a boomer shooter, but it is absolutely a boomer shooter. Like I mean there's mini quests involved. If you could basically combine the relative combat, I guess, or encounter structure of a Doom or a Duke Nukem with perhaps some of the level design and layout of Borderlands 1, I think is fair to say.
Oh.
Because you effectively have this home hub, which is actually just your house, um, and you end up going to different areas and worlds to accomplish certain things. So it effectively becomes a boomer shooter with a little more range as far as the different things that you can do quest wise. In essence, though, quest is find person, kill thing. Um, but you are a human, which is important to say. And the opening of this game, and I don't want to give it away because it's one of the funniest things I've ever experienced. If you enjoy Rick and Morty, um, but the beginning of the game is the character that you are playing a game, and just the premise of the game. The premise of the game is what makes it funny, but it's effectively just a 2D, you know, old school Doom, Duke Nukem type of boomer shooter.
Sure.
Just to get you prepped for what the controls are. Effectively, it's more like your tutorial before you're thrown into the game. Um, find out that you're a kid whose older sister is going to be throwing a party. Parents are out of town for the weekend, and you're brought to your character creation screen, which is
Okay.
really just pick boy or girl. And it is perhaps the most telling for what this game is, because the character creation or the character selection screen, where you choose male or female, is your sister handing you a compact folding mirror with lines of cocaine for you to potentially snort as you pick which character you are in the reflection of the compact mirror. And that pretty much sums up what you're getting yourself into. Um, you end up not choosing to do any cocaine once you select yourself, and then are promptly greeted with an alien invasion, where you watch a very Rick and Morty series of aliens descend from this spaceship that has crashed into your neighborhood. And an old guy in a wheelchair who's hard of hearing and mostly blind, but is the head of the HOA, wheels up to him, starts trying to give him hell. And one of the aliens puts him in like this pipe like thing and starts smoking him. And you find out that these aliens are going to take over Earth to use the human population as a drug,
Oh.
hence high on life.
Oh.
Yes,
Okay.
quite literally getting high on the life of humans. They end up killing one of their own people. You pick up a little pistol.
You're
It,
right,
it
honey
is
soul.
100% a fever dream.
You're
You
right,
were
honey soul.
correct. You pick up this pistol. You take out this inhibitor chip of this sentient pistol that talks to you, and it of course it makes exactly the noise that you think it would when you would remove that chip. Um, and it starts talking to you with the fantastic Rick voice, which is the pistol, and that is your accompaniment as he tells you what to do and how to do things.
Now.
Now, from a game perspective, the gunplay itself does feel good.
Okay.
I'm not going to sit here and say it's a precision shooter because it's not.
Sure.
There's no damage numbers that pop up. It's simply shoot things till they are no longer moving. Um, but the gunplay itself doesn't feel bad. It definitely feels more arcade shooter than
That's fine.
perhaps like any other console first person shooter you've played. But it is made to be that boomer shooter, go blow stuff up, do things. Um, you end up helping this pistol teleport your entire house to this other planet city where you're supposed to find an assassin who's going to help you defeat this group who is taking over your planet. They're effectively a drug cartel.
Nice.
And the game goes from there. You find the assassin, realize that he's lost both of his legs and is completely useless. He sends you on a death quest because he makes you agree that if you die on this quest, he gets to take and keep your house. So he sends you on a death quest because he wants to keep your house. And then you get your first boss fight. I will tell you The boss fights are actual boss fights. Like they make you do stuff. You have to grapple and swing above energy beams that spin in circles. Uh, you have to dodge really obvious things to dodge, but
Sure.
it was much more of a mechanic based boss fight than a first person shooter boss fight, which I honestly enjoyed quite a bit. It was like the easiest bullet hell you've ever played with fewer bullets and more beams.
I mean, no one likes
Easy though,
damage sponges.
easy. Well, and the I mean the thing was potentially a damage sponge. I don't know if I wasn't doing it in the optimum way, which is entirely possible, but you still get it done. Um, and then of course for doing all of that, you get the assassin's knife, which of course is also sentient, and that's a whole thing. Um,
Now, I
but
recall
it's
there needing to be
uh,
updates and patches for this game
mhm.
that let you tone down how often your things spoke.
There are.
Did you do that?
You, nope, left it exactly as it is, and I loved it the whole time because I've apparently come to find out that if I had somebody like narrating the things I was doing in my life, I would potentially love for it to be either Dan Harmon or Justin Roiland in those voices specifically. But 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 and I have to look this movie up again um, because there was even once you defeat the first boss fight and you go back to your house, the assassin that is helping you, quote unquote, is sitting on your couch watching a movie. Um, and there is actually a real, legitimate movie playing on your TV that is like a human movie. And I have to look up what it is because it's for sure like a B rank college humor adventure movie from the 80s. I have to, oh God, what was it? Maybe it wasn't from the 80s. Was it from the, oh my God, it was from the early mid 90s?
What?
That's almost worse. The movie that was playing was Tammy and the T Rex.
What is. Wait. Is that the movie
It's
with the
an
Whoopi
actual
Goldberg
movie.
as a detective?
I don't believe Whoopi Goldberg is in it, but this movie does star Denise Richards and Paul Walker, circa 1994. And a whole segment of that movie does play on the TV screen while you're just chilling in your house. And I am ashamed to say
Uh
that
huh.
I watched the whole thing
You.
that played.
Wait.
But
Wait.
I literally
Wait.
found myself, I put the
Wait.
controller down and watched as Paul Walker's character was trying to woo Denise Richards' character, did so successfully, but Denise Richards' ex-boyfriend got real spicy about that. So
How?
they jumped Paul Walker's character, and then there was a fight, and then more things happen, and they chase him down, throw him in a trunk, and bring him into this like wildlife preserve where he's potentially going to get eaten by a lion.
Wait.
Like
How long did you sit there and watch this?
it definitely was not less than a half an hour.
Oh my gosh.
So they
You
threw a
sat there.
1994 B tier movie at me in just the most Justin Roiland type of way, and it I don't even know it was so ridiculous, but for some reason the fact that that was what was happening fit the game so well that you just kind of, I mean, you shrug. Think old Family Guy with the Conway Twitty interludes, how they just
I
fit, and you
love.
never thought anything about them, right? It
Ladies
was
and
just that.
gentlemen, Mr. Conway Twitty.
It was just that, but it was a movie in a video game.
Oh my
I
gosh.
look, this game is not going to be anybody's favorite game. I can tell you that pretty safely. But it might be the most fun and funniest game you've played potentially since South Park: Stick of Truth.
I was gonna say, I was gonna say the South Park Stick
And
of
I say
Truth
that
game.
only because I did not play the Fractured Butthole. I played probably the first hour of it, and that was it. But I did love Stick of Truth. And I can safely say that High on Life is the funniest game I've played since Stick of Truth. It's for sure worth the time that it takes.
How it?
Which
How long to
I'm
beat?
looking right now. It's 9 to 12 hours.
Oh wow, short.
If you want to do everything and explore and like find stuff or whatever, it can take you 21 and a half hours. But the story is a 10-hour storyline, which is about what I expected. If I hadn't spent probably half an hour watching Tammy and the T-Rex, I potentially would have gotten even further. But alas, I didn't do that.
Oh my gosh, that's
And
so good. No, I'm convinced to check it out at some point. I've been curious about it,
it's
and because it just came back to Game Pass, I think, right?
yes, it did just come back because High on Life 2 was just announced at the
That's right.
summer
That's
games,
right.
whatever, at the not E3.
Um, yeah, no, I and here's the issue with what we're going to be talking about going forward, and this will actually take us to something I want to talk about because this is going to make the show very interesting. As of this upcoming Friday, the end of quarter three, beginning of quarter four onslaught is getting ready to begin.
We're only in the middle of quarter three. Quarter three ends at the end of September.
Yes, sorry. Middle of quarter three,
You should be.
beginning of quarter four onslaught is upon me, not Darren.
You.
Me.
Well, I mean, not me.
So what that
I'm just
means,
a little spread out.
what that means for is, we've talked about this in a couple episodes. Quarter three and quarter four of this year are looking to be absolutely insane. And
Yeah.
so I am interested in trying High Life, and I like that it's short. It very potentially could be my palate cleanser between games that I'm playing, because like a 9-hour game, that's really not that bad.
Hmm.
But we are approaching, for me, Mafia in 6 days from now. Then, like a week and a half, 2 weeks maybe later, we have Metal Gear Solid. Like a week or 2 weeks after that, Lost Soul Aside. And then we get into September, which is even more things. And I'm not going to have those 3 games tackled by then. Right?
Well, I mean, no, considering Lost Soul Aside comes out August 29th, there's no way to beat that before September.
Like, so I do wanna try it. I'm actually doing South of Midnight right now.
Woo!
And having a grand time. I'm gonna be putting some more time in tonight and tomorrow for sure. Um, but I think it's gonna present an interesting, like, situation for doing the podcast, because like when Claire Obscure came out, we had a whole episode dedicated to Claire Obscure, but we
Hmm.
also were playing other games.
No, I wasn't.
Yeah, you were. You had, like,
When
you
Claire
put.
Obscure came out, no, everything died.
We did episodes when Claire Obscure came out.
Yeah, and it was hard because I was just playing Claire Obscure.
I know, that's the thing. So it'll be interesting. Uh, like, what else does September have?
Borderlands.
September game releases. We
Borderlands
have.
4.
Well, yes, that is for you. Like I said,
That's
I
all.
I would be I can wait if need be. Um,
Um, Final Fantasy Tactics.
Final Fantasy Tactics, the Legend of Heroes, the first game remake.
Yep,
Hell
yep.
is Us, which could be interesting. I don't know. The new Silent Hill game comes out in September. Like, I, there's so much stuff on the way, and then October. Uh, oh, that's the Switch 2 version. But you got the new Digimon game. But not only
Yeah.
that, not only that, about 3 weeks after Borderlands 4, you get Ghost of Yotei. Then
Yup.
2 weeks after that, you get Pokemon Legends. Then for
Yup.
anybody who cares, 5 days after Pokemon Legends, you get Ninja Gaiden 4. Then, then
Don't forget.
eight
Don't
days
forget
after
Sword of
Ninja
the
Gaiden
Sea.
4,
Don't forget
and
Sword of the Sea is in August.
yeah, but if I had to rank the games I'm caring about, that one would be
Sure.
on there, but it's not that high up. But then, 9 days after, or 8 days after Ninja Gaiden 4, Outer Worlds 2.
Yeah.
And then, 2 months after that, the new Octopath Traveler game.
Oh, episode 0.
Yeah,
Or Octopath Traveler 0 or whatever it is. Yeah, yeah,
holy
yeah.
cow. There's so much stuff happening, and I'm very excited for it. We will be
Is
playing
that
as.
confirmed? Is Octopath confirmed?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Oh my god.
I know. Isn't it great? But
Yeah, it's great.
it's in order to do some of these games, like Octopath Traveler, I want to play Donkey Kong.
Yeah.
You need a Switch 2.
Yeah.
And Darren, you can attest to this. You were out shopping earlier today. You just
Yeah.
casually saw Switch 2s in the wild.
For the first time since they released, yes.
I went on
I've
Target,
seen there was not just one, there were two.
two Switch 2s. That's Switch
Two
4.
Switch 2s. Well, don't do that. That'll be $900.
And then I went on Target and Walmart just because I was curious, and I could have just bought them online
Hmm.
and gotten them.
Hmm.
And it's been a while since we've had a release that so soon after its release, it like became pretty readily available. I feel
Hmm.
like. So I don't know. I was gonna wait till holiday after more things had come out to get a Switch 2, and it seems like that's not gonna be impossible.
Yeah, I mean, if you do want to get that Pokemon Legends version or the one that comes with the digital code for it, that might be a little harder to find. Just because, I mean, you know how people love that franchise. It it will always be harder to find something Pokemon than not Pokemon.
Sure.
That's a pretty fair assessment in most cases and in most markets. Um, that being said, I mean, thank goodness or not, that wasn't a launch title, so it probably won't be as hard as it was, a month ago. Or who knows, maybe there will just be permanent stock forever, just as a way of screwing over scalpers. Because I actually just recently learned, did you know that if the scalpers return Switch 2s unopened to Target, Target will not resell them?
So what are they doing with
Target,
them?
I don't know. There might just be a whole stack in the backs of Targets of unopened Switch 2s that scalpers bought to resell and then returned. But they will not resell things
I
like
wonder
that.
if they send them back to Nintendo or something.
I
I don't know.
mean, yeah. I tried to, when I was still looking for one, I tried to bribe the Target worker to just like, oh yeah, I'll pull up a truck around back and I'll just take all the ones that people returned. And jokingly, he agreed, but definitely didn't because then his manager walks by and that was sad. But it's fine. All's well that ends well.
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting end of the year. I mean, like my time
Yeah.
is pretty much spoken for through next year. Cuz there's no way I'm getting through everything that I care about by the time we reach the end of the year. Which is a good thing because like I'm not having to buy a ton of games. I'm not going to be bored. It's a
Yeah.
decent problem to have because I'm going to be honest, there's no way I'm getting everything. That's not going to happen. There's no way. So we're
And I
going to
mean,
just
at least, for me anyway, the games that I care about are they seem to be releasing pretty much in about 2 week intervals. So I mean, it at least gives me a chance to get paid in between each one.
Fair.
That's kind of nice. That's nice.
Thanks, industry. But yes,
But it's
I
I don't.
I
Yeah, it's
think
gonna
we're
it's
in
gonna
good
be a
hands.
long year.
I
Yeah,
think we're in good hands. I think this depending on how the games do, this could be a necessary resurgence for AAA games. Although let's actually look at what's coming out. Oh, I can't forget Tiny Bookshop. But no, Mafia. I think no, it's part of 2K, so I don't think it's
that's
indie.
triple for sure. No, it's
Um,
triple A for sure.
and then you have the Sword of the Sea that you were talking about. I think that's indie.
That is indie,
Black Myth Wukong coming to Xbox. That's nice.
but it's already out. So yeah,
Well, yeah. And then Lost Soul Aside, that's indie. Even though PlayStation's making it, it was made by one guy.
yeah,
Or started by one guy, which I guess he ended up getting help with. Then we have Hell is Us, which I think is indie. Chronos the New Dawn, which is supposed to be like a spiritual successor to Dead Space. That might be indie. Borderlands 4 is not. Trails in the Sky, first chapter. I don't think Falcom could be considered indie, but it's definitely a double
I
A
don't.
title.
I think if a game is getting a remake, I think we can comfortably call it its own
That's fair.
category.
Silent Hill F, that's not double A. Final Fantasy Tactics, that's not double A. Borderlands 4, well, that's the Switch 2
That is
version.
that's borderline quad A.
Don't do that. We know
I mean,
what
it is.
quadruple A games.
It is though. I mean, Take Two or yeah, 2K is not.
I wouldn't say
It's
they're any bigger than
borderline quad
EA.
A.
I wouldn't say they're any bigger than EA.
Could make an argument that EA is quad A.
Yeah, Ubisoft tried making a quadruple A, and we saw what happened with that. It died. Skull and Bones died because they were
Remember
so
when it was
confident.
briefly on Game Pass and now it's gone?
No, I'm gonna be honest. No, I don't.
It was on Game Pass for about a month and a half and now it's gone.
Don't
But I
recall
still think
that.
it's on sale for $8.
Don't recall that. Ghost of Yotai, not double A at all. Pokemon Legends, not double A. Ninja Gaiden 4, not double A. So like, I think that there are a decent amount of games that could be considered triple A that are on the way. And Quad
Yeah.
A is basically so there are triple A is like your big budget games. And they like your big company games, like anything EA makes, Ubisoft makes, anything 2K or Take Two makes, they are games that have a big budget backing behind them. Then you have your double A's, which is your like indie games that have a slight budget, like Clair Obscur would be double A. I don't
Mm-hmm.
know if single A is a thing, but double A is like your smaller budget games. Quadruple A is a thing that doesn't actually exist, but there was a game that Ubisoft was making. I'm 99% sure it was Skull and Bones, but there was a game that Ubisoft was
Yeah.
making, and they were touting it as the first ever quadruple A game. They were like, "Yo, this game is huge. It's gonna look beautiful. It's gonna be awesome." And then the game drowned and died because they were so confident in it. Baldur's Gate 3. Baldur's Gate 3 is interesting. Baldur's
Larian
Gate
is
3
a
is
double A
interesting.
studio.
Larian is an indie studio.
Yeah.
But because of the games that they've made, like Divinity Original Sin 2, I think sold well. Divinity Original Sin, I don't know how well the first one did. But
Two
they've
did
been
well.
like if you go back to their origins, they were indie because when they did Divinity Ego Draconis 2 and Divine Divinity and a bunch of other stuff that they made, they were absolutely indie titles. Divinity Original Sin 2 was the first game that they made that was like, oh snap, these dudes really know what they're doing. And then Baldur's Gate 3 comes along, and I believe Baldur's Gate 3 was kickstarted. Um, no, Baldur's Gate 3. No, Divinity Original Sin 2 was kickstarted, but Baldur's Gate 3,
Baldur's
off of the success of Divinity Original Sin, let them make a game. So,
Baldur's Gate 3 is considered a AAA game still. However, its budget compared to other AAA games is tremendously less. but it is still considered a AAA because it had a budget of $100 million.
Okay, so the A's are indicative of how much budget goes into it versus you can have an indie AAA and you can have a big budget AA, I guess, or like a major company AA. Tear,
Tears of the Kingdom.
Tears of the Kingdom on Nintendo.
That's
Tears
the triplest A
that is about
ever.
as AAA as it gets.
First party Nintendo games are always AAA.
First party anything, first party Microsoft, first party Sony, first
Yes.
party Nintendo, it's automatically AAA because they have the backing of the console company behind them. So, I mean, in the end, AA, AAA, whatever, it doesn't really matter. What matters is that they make a good game. But then you have, I think Age of Empires 2 was Microsoft. I think Age of Empires 2 was Microsoft.
Forgotten Empires. Capture Age, World Edge.
Was it not?
Developed, no. Forgotten Empires, Capture Age, World's Edge, Tantalus Media, Wicked Workshop. They had 5 developers.
No.
Yes.
Age of Empires 2. Specifically 2.
Yes, specifically 2. Specifically 2, the definitive edition.
World's Edge seems to be the main developer. They only did the definitive edition. I guess Forgotten Empires
But their parent organization is Xbox Game Studios, World Edge or World's Edge.
So I think Age of Empires would be probably classified as
It is probably AAA now. It looks like World's Edge was established in June of 2019 to oversee the Age of Empires franchise. So Age of Empires now is being overseen by Microsoft, making it technically a AAA game. Even if the studios are not AAA studios. So that's going to be the deciding factor is AAA game versus being overseen by a AAA studio. That's going to become a bit more nuanced, I suspect.
Well, they
soon,
made
if
Age
not
of
now.
Empires 2 Definitive Edition. Who made basic Age of Empires 2? The Age of Kings. That's what it's called. So that was by Ensemble. Okay. All they do is Age of Mythology, Age of Empires. They pretty much only do real-time strategy, like originally. So Ensemble still exists. No. Oh no. They went defunct back in 2009. That's sad. Oh, they also did Halo Wars. Neat. So, yeah, I mean, you could go on and on, but I think what matters is, are you making a good game? Because you can have an incredible budget, make a terrible game. You could have no budget, make a great game. As gamers, we don't care. I don't care. Like, as long as your game is fun to play, it's a good game. I don't care if it's single A. I don't. I just want to have fun playing it, because that is the point of this medium, is to have fun.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously.
And
people find different fun in different things. But, like...
And to disassociate productively.
Well, the one thing I will say is I don't know how truly productive playing games are, but I am also of the mind that time spent being enjoyed is not time wasted.
Sure.
Am I having fun?
Well.
Am I harming anybody? All right. I'm good.
Sure.
But, with that said, we are going to wrap the episode here. Thank you for to our chat. First ever time having like a chat with people who are talking in it. Thank you to all who are here. If you would like to see more or see us live, we are going to be on Twitch. I'm going to try to shoot to start at like 7:45 going forward on Saturdays, to just sit over the first few minutes will probably be just sitting around chatting, and then we'll get to recording sometime around 8 or so. And
that is 7:45 p.m. Eastern time.
That is correct. Next time, I have a very interesting game. I will be convincing Darren and you all to try Warhammer 40k Rogue Trader by Owlcat Games, who are a recently created studio to work on, I think, games for different IPs. I can do some more research for next time of like what they are going to be doing. But the only other games that they've made so far are both Pathfinder CRPGs. Pathfinder Wrath of the Righteous and Pathfinder wait, something of Kings. Kingmaker. I believe it was Kingmaker. Yes, Pathfinder Kingmaker. Darren, what are you going to be convincing me to try?
I am going to try to convince you to play Monster Boy and the Cursed Kingdom by FDG Entertainment. They seem to have made some very small games. Most prevalently, from what I could see, a game called Oceanhorn: Monster of the Uncharted Seas, which also does have a sequel. I've never heard of them. I've never heard of any of this, but it seems intriguing. So we're
I
gonna go for it.
I will say I do believe Oceanhorn, if I am not mistaken, is very heavily inspired by Wind Waker and definitely
Oh,
Legend of
interesting.
Zelda. So, yes, the gameplay and graphic design of Oceanhorn follows Zelda games, specifically Wind Waker and Link to the Past. And there are some compositions in the game. This is according to the wiki, just for a quick look up. There are some tracks that were composed by Kenji Ito and Nobuo Uematsu in Oceanhorn. So,
Well, I'm sad that that's not what I'm playing, but it's not what I'm playing. I am in fact playing Monster Boy and the Cursed Kingdom,
so you know,
and that's what it's gonna be.
I think
Apparently developed by Game Atelier though, which means it's at least gonna be decent. Game
is
Atelier's got some pedigree to him.
Game Atelier is it's a French studio.
Yeah, isn't that? Didn't
That
they
is
help with Dishonored? No,
no,
that
they
wasn't them.
apparently
Nope,
their
I guess
only
not.
game is Flying Hamsters, Sunflowers, and a game called Other Skin.
I mean, great. That's some diversity. Flying hamster, sunflowers, other skin. Sounds great. Range, baby.
But with that said, I hope that you all just thank you for tuning in. I hope that you enjoyed yourselves and that you were convinced to at least give our games a shot. If you'd like to follow us after when we're not recording, they're all at the bottom. Convince Me Gaming, Convince Me Media, Convince Me Podcast. You will find us. And with all of that said, Darren.
Are you convinced yet?